Revealed, how a struggling driver transformed the billionaire's daughter's life in just 30 days. Jake gripped the steering wheel tighter, rain streaking down the windshield like tears. He felt the weight of the world pressing down on him, bills stacking up at home, his dad sick and struggling each day, and dreams of writing fading like the sun in a stormy sky. But that dreary afternoon, his life was about to change, and he had no idea that a ping from his app broke through his thoughts. A ride request popped up from Brookhaven, the posh neighborhood where lavish cars and golden gates seemed to ooze privilege. He shook his head, thinking about how far from that world he lived. Still, any fare mattered. He hit accepted. When Lily stepped in, the contrast couldn't have been starker. She wore an outfit that cost more than his monthly rent, yet her eyes lacked the sparkle of happiness. Jake's heart sank. He recognized that look all too well. He forced a smile, his signature humor spilling out. "You know, I'm just a rideshare driver. I promise I don't bite unless you're a pizza." Lily chuckled softly, her vacant expression softening slightly. It wasn't much, but in that moment, she saw in Jake something different: genuine laughter, a glimpse of warmth. They chatted about silly things, and as the rain poured outside, it felt like a safe haven in a storm. Days turned into late-night drives. His stories about his struggles, the relentless grind of being an American in a city where success felt so distant, drew her closer. He had dreams to be a novelist, but life kept throwing punches, leaving bruises she could only imagine. Meanwhile, her own struggles bubbled beneath the surface. She craved freedom, to be more than just a billionaire's daughter. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue, but soon, the happiness began to fray. One afternoon, Jake returned to find his car, a lifeline to support his father, had been stolen. That moment felt like a cruel twist of fate. Fingers trembling, he could barely bring himself to text Lily that their meetings would have to pause. She misinterpreted his silence, thinking him ashamed of their friendship. Meanwhile, Lily faced her own demons at home. Inspired by Jake's resilience, she decided it was time to confront her parents about her own desires. But fear paralyzed her. The crushing weight of expectations echoed in her mind, making her doubt if she'd have the courage to stand up. Their friendship teetered on the edge. Just when the world felt too big and threatening, Jake found solace in a community flyer he intended to post organizing a fundraiser for veterans like his father. It would be a true test of character, not just for him, but also for Lily. Would she risk everything for a bond that transcended their different worlds? As their paths converged towards an inevitable showdown against their fears, the tension crackled in the air. They were both on the cusp of a leap, a chance to either break free or retreat back into their safety nets. Would love and friendship shine through, or would the weight of their backgrounds pull them apart? Only time would tell. Jake could hardly focus on the words in front of him. The flyer lay crumpled in his hands, a stark reminder of everything he had lost and everything he still wanted to fight for. Organizing a fundraiser for veterans felt both daunting and essential. The stakes grew higher as his father's health declined. He knew he had to act. In the middle of his thoughts, a sudden idea sparked. What if he asked Lily to help? He hustled around town, gathering supplies and contacting local businesses willing to donate. The first few days were exhausting, but with every small success, another donation, a venue secured, his mood lifted slightly. Still, worry gnawed at him. Did he have the right to bring this to Lily? Could she really stand beside a struggling driver from the other side of town? Meanwhile, the silence between them stretched painfully. Days turned into weeks without a word. Every time he thought about texting her, hesitation bubbled up. Was he doing the right thing? He couldn't let his pride stop him from reaching out, but he was terrified of what a full honesty session would reveal. As for Lily, her own battles deepened. Staring at the walls of her perfectly decorated room, she felt more trapped than ever. Every expectation her parents placed on her was a weight on her chest, tightening with each passing day. She wanted to scream, to break free from the golden cage, but how? Then one night, as she stared at her phone, the urge to reach out crept in. She thought about Jake, the laughter, the warmth. Maybe he would understand. But before she could hit send, her phone pinged. A message from Jake. "Hey, Lily. I'm organizing something important, maybe you'd want to help?" Her heart raced. It was a lifeline. "I'd love that. What do you need?" They met a day later at a coffee shop, tension turning into energy the moment they laid eyes on each other. Jake quickly spilled out his plan, excitement in his voice, a fundraiser for veterans, a way to give back. As the words flowed, he could see the spark in Lily's eyes too, an awakening. "I want to help you," she said. "We can do this together." Something inside him swelled at her determination. It felt as if a bridge had formed between their worlds, something stronger than money or status. But as they began to brainstorm ideas, reality crashed down again. Could this spark survive the looming challenges they both faced? Hours turned into days as they dove into preparations, pulling late-night work sessions fueled by caffeine and laughter. Jake felt lighter with each meeting. Yet, shadows lingered in the corners of their eyes, whispers of the problems they still had. Lily grappled with her parents' expectations. Jake wrestled with mounting bills and his father's health. Each challenge felt like a barricade, raising questions about how far they could truly climb together. As the night of the fundraiser approached, feelings of hope tangled with apprehension. The community showed up, but would the event be enough to bridge the divide? Would Lily's resolve withstand the storm of her family's judgment, or would she retreat into the confines of her privileged life? The evening of the fundraiser arrived, and as the crowd buzzed with energy, Jake caught a glimpse of Lily across the room, her confidence radiating. Just then, an unexpected figure walked in, the very person Lily had hoped to avoid. "Mom?" she whispered, her eyes widening with shock as uncertainty crept over her face. Jake sensed the tension, a raw moment hanging in the air. Could this night still end in their dreams rising above expectations, or would they falter under the pressure? They stood at a precipice, the outcome uncertain, hope and fear entwined in a devastating dance. What would Lily choose? Would she step forward or hide away? Lily's heart felt like it was pounding right out of her chest. The warmth of the room faded as her mother's presence loomed larger than life. The tightly curated world Lily had known clashed violently with her emerging desire for authenticity. She stood frozen, unsure if she should wave, to acknowledge the woman who had come to patrol her life, or to simply melt into the crowd, hiding from judgment. "Mom," she murmured again, a breath of disbelief escaping her lips. The noise of laughter and chatter around her dimmed, becoming a distant echo. She could feel the energy of the fundraiser swirling, yet it seemed to vanish as her focus narrowed in on her mother. Jake, sensing something was off, stepped closer to her side, an anchor amidst the rising tide of anxiety. He touched her arm gently, grounding her. "Hey, you okay?" His voice had a soothing warmth, a reminder of all they had accomplished together. "What is she doing here?" Lily whispered back, her voice trembling. The anxiety dripped from her words like water from an overfilled bucket. "I don't know," Jake replied, a flicker of sympathy in his eyes. "But whatever she thinks, it won't change the good we're doing tonight." It was true. Although the stakes felt higher than ever, Jake's words wrapped around her like a lifeline. Together, they poured their hearts into this event. But now, the weight of her family's expectations loomed heavy in her mind, threatening to spill over and ruin everything. Mrs. Thompson's hawk-like gaze scanned the room and landed on Lily. The moment their eyes met, electricity surged between them. "Lily! There you are!" Her mother called out, drawing the attention of several guests. Let us talk, shall we? With every step her mother took, Lily could feel her composure shaking. She had dreamed about moments like this, so many times imagining a confrontation where she declared her independence, where she stood her ground. But now, the fantasy collided harshly with reality. Jake squeezed her arm once more, a silent encouragement, a reminder of the real cause standing before them. "You're doing great," he reassured her, his gaze steady. "Focus on why we're here." Taking a deep breath, Lily turned to face her mother. "Actually, Mom, I'm kind of busy right now." Her mother's eyebrows shot up in disbelief. "Busy? You can't be serious. This isn't the time to play at charity work. You have responsibilities." Lily could see the disapproval etched into her mother's features, the way her lips pursed with disdain as she considered the room full of lessers. But that old part of her, the one that feared rejection, began to wane. She wanted to fight back, to protect what she had built with Jake, the sense of purpose that was blossoming within her. Seeing a flicker of doubt in Lily's eyes, Jake stepped forward. "Mrs. Thompson, we're trying to help veterans. It's important work, and Lily's been an incredible part of this." The words hung in the air, bold and insistent. A flicker of surprise softened her mother's expression. Would she accept this? Would she understand? But then, a spark ignited inside Lily. She couldn't let her life be dictated by someone else's expectations anymore. "Mom," she began, the steadiness in her voice surprising even herself. "This is my decision. I want to do this. I'm proud of this. And that matters more than what you think." The silence that followed felt heavy. Both Jake and Lily waited, hearts racing, ready to embrace whatever reaction would come next. Lily, her mother started, dropping a hint of the chaos that lurked behind her tightly controlled facade. But before she could finish, another voice interrupted. "What's happening here?" A community member approached, concern written on their face as they sensed the crack in the atmosphere. Lily and Jake turned to one another, the challenge of this night swirling further. Could they withstand the judgment from both worlds? As Mrs. Thompson's gaze sharpened and the crowd's murmurs began to swirl, Lily realized they hadn't just ignited a fundraiser, they had set off a much larger storm. What choices lay ahead? Would they stand strong as the foundations of their worlds began to crumble beneath them? Lily's breath caught in her throat as the tension thickened around them. The community member's concerned expression mirrored her own rising panic, but Lily was determined to hold her ground. With Jake at her side, the world felt slightly less daunting. Maybe they could weather this storm together. "Everything's fine," Lily said, forcing a smile. It felt brittle on her lips, but the effort to maintain some semblance of control was necessary. "Just a little conversation about charity." "Charity?" Mrs. Thompson laughed, the sound icy and dismissive. "Is that what you call this nonsense? You're playing dress-up while your life waits at home. Do you really think this is what you should be doing?" Lily's heart pounded hard against her ribs. "Mom, I'm not a child anymore. You don't get to decide what's important to me." She could see Mrs. Thompson's facade beginning to crack, the frustration boiling just under the surface. Jake cleared his throat and took a step forward, his body language exuding calmness in the face of chaos. "What Lily is doing here matters. We're raising funds for veterans who need support. There's a lot of pain and struggle out there, and we can help." The crowd had begun to listen, several heads nodding in agreement. Lily could feel a surge of warmth spreading through her. Maybe her voice wasn't the only one that mattered. "Help?" Mrs. Thompson spat, fury blooming in her eyes. "You think I'll let my daughter associate with these people? With this? You think this is what she was raised for? To play savior to the world?" A murmur rippled through the audience, the tension intensifying. Lily held her breath, a single drop of sweat trailing down her spine. Her mother's words stung, but Lily felt an unexpected strength rising within her. I'm not ashamed of wanting to make a difference, Lily said, her voice steady and resolute. You always taught me about responsibility, Mom. This is mine. Mrs. Thompson's features twisted with disbelief, caught between indignation and the realization that her daughter had emerged as someone she didn't quite recognize. Suddenly, she lowered her voice, leaning closer as if they were sharing a secret. Lily, this isn't you. You're meant for bigger things. You need to join a proper fundraiser, one that matters. A soft gasp erupted from someone in the crowd, followed by murmurs of unease. They were witnessing a battle of souls, a daughter longing for her place in the world against a mother who clung to outdated ideals. Bigger things? Lily echoed, not backing away. This is bigger than anything I could imagined. She took a breath, feeling both exhilarated and terrified. You might not see it, but I found my purpose in helping others. You want me to fit neatly into a box, but I won't be defined by that box anymore. The realization coursed through her that this moment was just as much about her as it was for Jake, the veterans, and the community that depended on their support. The crowd shifted, anticipation hanging in the air. It was as if they were holding their collective breath, waiting for the next move in this unexpected chess game. Mrs. Thompson's upper lip twitched as if she were searching for words to counter Lily's passion, but nothing came. Instead, she looked bewildered, a stern facade crumbling, revealing the exhaustion behind her ironclad control. Fine, she finally said, almost a whisper. You really think this is worth it? Just as the tension peaked, a voice broke through the silence. What are you doing, Lily? Lily's heart sank as she turned to see her younger brother, Tim, standing at the edge of the crowd. His wide eyes searched for answers. Would he understand? As her world held its breath, Lily felt a new wave of courage stir within her. It wasn't just her fight anymore, it was about every choice, every painful moment that led her to this point. Would she dare to break free for good, not just for herself but for Tim and for everything she believed in? Lily's gaze met her brother's, silently seeking out his understanding. The moment stretched indefinitely as emotions collided. Lily. Jake. Urged, sensing the shift. And in that heartbeat, Lily knew she had a decision to make, one that could change everything. Would she take the leap, or would she let the weight of her mother's expectations chain her once more? Tim's voice, innocent and seeking, cut through the tension like a knife. She felt the weight of her mother's gaze shift, and suddenly, all eyes were on her. The silence felt deafening, amplifying the thundering of her own heart. I'm trying to make something of myself, Tim, she replied, trying to keep her voice steady. I know it's not what you're used to hearing, but I'm doing something real here. The young boy's brow furrowed as he stepped forward, uncertainty etched on his face. But, Lily, Mom's right about important things, isn't she? Lily felt like she'd been punched in the gut. Tim was still so young, so full of the unfiltered beliefs their mother had instilled in him. How could she explain that sometimes, following one's own path meant straying from expectations? Mom believes in what she believes. I get that, Lily said, her words hanging heavily. But Tim, what about what I believe? What I feel? I have to try. I want to help people who need it. The crowd shifted again, murmurs rising as people began to realize this was more than just a disagreement. Lily saw their eyes flicker with a mix of sympathy for her struggle, determination to support her, and uncertainty about the confrontation unfolding right before them. Mrs. Thompson folded her arms tightly, her expression a storm of emotions. This isn't about beliefs, Lily. It's about your future, my future. Or your idea of it? Lily interjected, her frustration boiling just under the surface. You don't understand. I feel alive when I'm helping these veterans. They fought for us, and now they need us. The crack in Mrs. Thompson's steely exterior widened. You think you're equipped to actually make a difference at your age? Yes. I do. Lily shot back. Fire ignited behind her words, and she felt every moment of doubt start to fade just as quickly as it had come. If I don't try, I'll never know. If I always do what you say, I'll end up miserable. Tim stared up at her, his expression softened. I want you to be happy, Lily. I really do. The warmth of her brother's concern squeezed her heart. I'm trying, she said, her voice quieter now. You have to understand, this is my chance to do something that matters. And there it was, the moment that felt suspended in time. The crowd was swimming in the weight of her words, and she felt the delicate threads of their understanding pull taut. Even Jake, standing beside her, radiated quiet support. But her mother's next words were sharp, echoing as if they were warning shots. What if you fail? You'll only prove my point. 1,000 fears rushed through Lily's mind in that instant, thoughts of messing up, of disappointing her family, of being left with nothing. But then, amidst that chaos, a flicker of resolve reminded her why she was here. You know what? Even if I do fail at 1TB because I didn't try, she replied, her voice steadier now. I want to live without regret. This is worth any risk. The crowd started to murmur, collective breaths being taken as they processed her declaration. Time stretched again, and she was caught between two worlds, her mother's expectations and her own desire to break free. Then, unexpectedly, one of the veterans she had met before stepped forward, a scarred face breaking into a kind smile. I believe in you, Lily. We believe in you. He turned to the audience, and slowly, more voices joined in with nods of approval, murmurs of support ringing clearly in the air. Lily's heart swelled, the warmth flooding through her, turning doubt into electrifying hope. This was her moment. Thank you, she said, emotion creeping into her words. I just want to carve out my own path. The crowd erupted into applause, a wave she hadn't anticipated. It was a reminder that maybe, just maybe, she could harness the strength of those around her, but then, through the warmth of encouragement, she turned to her mother, knowing she still had an uphill battle to fight. Please, try to see this who I am now, not who you want me to be. Mrs. Thompson's features remained stoic, but Lily could see cracks, tiny fissures of uncertainty. It was something, but was it enough? Without looking away, Lily held her mother's gaze, hoping that beneath the layers of disappointment, something could shift. And as silence stretched between them, unspoken words filling the air, each heartbeat echoed a new question. Was it possible for their bond to survive this transformation? Lily stepped back, ready for the next chapter of her life to unfold, but inside her spark of hope flickered dimly, battling against the shadows of doubt. How far could she fall before she finally took flight? Lily stood on the edge of the crowd, feeling the weight of her mother's unyielding stare. The applause faded, but the echo of her declaration lingered. It was as if every person around her inhaled the moment, holding their breath in a collective gasp, waiting for Mrs. Thompson's reaction. At that moment, Tim reached for her hand, his small fingers clasping around hers, a lifeline in the sea of uncertainty. You did great, Lily. He exclaimed, his voice bursting with pride and admiration. She smiled down at him, but her heart still trembled. Thanks, buddy. A moment of warmth flickered between them, but it was short-lived. Mrs. Thompson finally broke the silence, her voice steady but laced with caution. Lily, I don't want you to make a mistake you can't come back from. The protective tone in her mother's voice, though familiar, cut deeper than any dagger. Mom, this isn't a mistake. It's a choice I'm making. But you're talking about helping people, it's not just a job. The world is cruel, and not everyone is what they seem. Lily felt a rush of defiance course through her veins. For too long, she kept her dreams tucked under layers of family expectations. I know it's hard, but I've seen the good in people too. You taught me to care. Caring doesn't always pay the bills. Mrs. Thompson's eyes glistened with an unshed tear, and for a second, Lily felt the weight of her mother's sacrifices. I don't want to end up like you, Mom," she whispered, hoping the words wouldn't cut too deep. "I don't want to live a life that's not mine." The crowd had shifted again, an anxious energy rippling through them. Some audience members exchanged glances of concern, while others nodded slowly, as if understanding the silent battle raging within the Thompson family. "Maybe," Mrs. Thompson said, her voice softening. "Maybe it's time for you to make mistakes and learn, but it's terrifying for me to watch. I need to try and maybe fail. Isn't that how we learn?" With a deep breath, her mother looked away, staring into the distance as if searching for answers in the sanctuary of familiar faces surrounding them. In that moment, Jake approached her, a quiet resolve emanating from him. "You spoke from your heart, Lily," he said, placing a reassuring hand on her shoulder. "That takes courage." She felt a flicker of hope reignite at his words. Courage. Maybe that was the missing piece in the puzzle of her life, the bravery to face whatever challenge came next. Suddenly, the crowd began to disperse, but she realized she needed to stay. "Mom, let me show you what this means to me." Desperation filtered into her tone, and for the first time, she saw her mother's steely facade falter. "I'm not ready for you to go down this path," Mrs. Thompson said quietly, yet the hint of vulnerability couldn't be disguised. "Then let us figure it out together." Before another word could escape her mother's lips, Tim tugged on her sleeve, his small face filled with worry. "What does this mean for us, Lily? Will everything change?" The innocent question pulled at Lily's heart, amplifying the fear she had tried to bury. "I hope not, Tim. I hope we can be happy no matter what." Their bond felt fragile, hanging in the balance between dreams and realities. "I love you, you know that, right?" "Yeah, I know," Tim replied, his smile brightening even in the face of uncertainty. "I love you too," she said, grateful for the comforting weight of his worry. Lily turned back to Mrs. Thompson, who now seemed to be wrestling with a tangle of emotions. "Please, Mom, can we talk about this later?" Mrs. Thompson nodded slowly, as if the weight of the world had been lifted just a little bit. "I suppose we can try." For the first time, it felt like a small victory. But as the crowd dwindled and the shadows stretched longer in the evening light, Lily couldn't shake the feeling that more awaited them both. As she glanced at Jake, his eyes sparkling with possibility, she realized that this was just the beginning. What ripple effects would her choice create for those around her? With a quick glance at Tim, a surge of determination washed over her. She had taken a stand, but what lay ahead was still uncharted territory. Would courage truly be enough, or was there more she needed to unearth in the days to come? The sun dipped below the horizon, casting a warm glow that seemed to wrap around Lily like a reassuring hug. She caught Jake's gaze, and for a moment, it felt like the world had shrunk down to just the two of them. Somehow, they had carved a piece of truth in the midst of uncertainty, a place where bravery twined with hope. "Let us go for a walk," Jake suggested, a small smile dawning on his face. He seemed unaffected by the emotional whirlwind they had just unleashed. Maybe that was his gift, the ability to stay grounded when everything else felt like it was spinning out of control. As the crowd thinned, Lily felt the static energy of the speech still buzzing in her ears. "I can't believe I actually did that," she murmured, half in awe, half in disbelief. "Believe it," Jake said, nudging her playfully. "You're like a superhero now. Maybe you've got a hidden power we don't know about yet." The laughter bubbled to the surface, and she felt lighter. "More like a regular girl who took a big leap," she replied, her heart swelling with pride. With every step, the air was filled with sweet anticipation, as if the universe felt her stir of hope and pushed her forward. It was in this rare moment of clarity that Lily considered what her next move would be. A journey to help others had begun, yet she was still standing at the edge of her own destiny, with family echoes hanging in the air. "Do you think your mom will come around?" Jake asked, his tone turning serious as they trudged along the cracked pavement of the park. She hesitated, staring ahead. "I hope so. I just want her to understand me," to see why this matters so much. And if she doesn't? Jake's question lingered, thick in the cool evening air. Then I have to be okay with that, she said shakily. I can't live my life trying to please everyone else. Exactly, he replied softly, determination lining his voice. You're not alone in this, Lily. Remember that. She nodded, feeling a warmth spreading through her. But underneath the surface, a knot of doubt simmered, tightening in her stomach. What if her mom never accepted her decision? Tim's innocent face flashed in her mind. His question about change echoed like a drumbeat in her ear. I just want to keep everything the family, the love together, she said, fear creeping in. Change is scary, but sometimes it's necessary, Jake said, gripping her shoulder slightly. What's life without a little risk, anyway? Just as those words sank in, a loud voice broke through their conversation. Hey, Lily. Jake. It was a familiar figure, Megan, a friend from school, rushing toward them, laughter trailing behind her like sunlight. Did you see their faces? Everyone is talking about your speech. Lily felt warmth rise to her cheeks. The unexpected praise was a balm on her insecurities. Thanks, Megan. She managed to say, a shy smile creeping across her face. Seriously. You were amazing. I'm so proud of you. Megan's enthusiasm felt infectious, tugging Lily further from her worries. As the trio walked together, laughter and light-hearted banter replaced doubt in Lily's heart. But beneath it all, she felt the weight of choices yet to come. How many futures lay before her, swirling in the dusk? Would the conversations she longed for lead to understanding, or would they deepen the chasm between her and her mother? As Megan spoke animatedly about plans for the summer, a thought lodged uncomfortably in Lily's mind. What if her choices not only transformed her life but affected those she loved in ways they couldn't foresee? Let's grab some ice cream. Jake suggested, his face lighting up at the thought. Yeah. I know the perfect place. Megan chirped. Lily held back, her heart pounding. A simple treat on a bright summer evening felt like a moment charged with hope. But she couldn't ignore the gnawing sensation that something bigger was ahead. What if her choice was just the first ripple in a far-reaching wave? With the glow of excitement around them, she continued to walk, but her thoughts drifted ahead like a flock of restless birds. Could courage, understanding, and love truly bring them through? As the laughter echoed behind her, she felt that familiar pull. Whatever storm was brewing on the horizon, she was determined to face it. And when the moment came, would she be ready? Walking into the ice cream shop was like stepping into a candy-coated dream. The bright colors and sweet scents enveloped Lily, igniting a spark of joy. She could feel the warmth of friendship surrounding her, and for a moment, the weight of her worries eased. Megan was already bouncing between the flavors, debating between mint chocolate chip and cookie dough, while Jake leaned against the counter, a confident grin on his face. What's your flavor, superhero? He asked with a playful smirk. Something bright and sweet, I guess, Lily replied, her voice assuring herself more than anyone else. Yet, she could feel a flutter of uncertainty as thoughts about her mother crept back in. Would she ever find that brightness in their relationship? What about cookies and cream? Jake suggested, his eyes filled with anticipation. Let's do it, Lily said, willing to push the heaviness aside, even if just for a little while. As they placed their orders, Jake leaned closer. You know, when this is all done, we should go on a road trip. Just the three of us. What do you think? Excitement coursed through her. That sounds amazing. Just us, out on the open road. Suddenly, she could picture it, the wind in their hair, laughter filling the air, with freedom at their fingertips. It was a journey she craved, both physically and emotionally. But I don't want to leave anything unresolved. Then don't, Megan chimed in, joyfully holding up her cone. You'll figure it out. You've already taken a huge step. Ice cream is only the beginning. They settled at a small table, and with each lick of their cones, Lily felt her spirits lifting. The sun had finally vanished, leaving stars scattered across the sky like glitter. It was beautiful, but the universe felt a little too vast. She couldn't shake the feelings buried deep within her, those fears nagging at her, reminding her of what was still left unspoken. What if my mother doesn't understand? Lily finally voiced, a heavy pause falling over the trio. What if she just shuts me out? Jake's hand rested over hers. You can't control how she reacts. You can only control how you express yourself. You're being brave, and no matter what happens, your voice matters. Yeah, Megan added, we can't always know how people will respond. Sometimes, all you can do is be true to yourself. With every word, Lily felt a blend of acceptance and fear. They were right. But being true in front of her mother felt like standing naked under a blaring spotlight. Would her heart break or mend? The conversation shifted to lighter topics, but her mind swayed back to her mother. The thought lingered like a haunting melody, an unsung song waiting for its moment to ring clear. She longed for the day to come where she could sit across from her mother, bare her heart, and find common ground. But was she ready for the potential fallout? As they finished their ice cream, the light-hearted atmosphere began to fade, and Lily's heart raced with impending uncertainty. Close friends offered a semblance of security, but what would happen when the real conversations began? When they stepped back into the cool night, the euphoria of the moment clashed with the shadows of her upcoming challenges. Was she strong enough? As they walked back toward home, laughter ringing out from Jake and Megan, Lily felt a change approaching, an electric charge in the air. The edge of something significant loomed just beyond the horizon, and it was almost palpable. Tomorrow is a new day, Lily murmured softly, her breath clouding in front of her. Exactly, Jake replied, a glimmer of hope in his smile. And whatever happens, we'll face it together. As they neared the street that led to her home, a sudden gust of wind whisked past, leaving a chill in the air. The same feeling of excitement and dread pulsed within her. What would tomorrow bring? The storm was drawing closer, not just in the world around her, but within herself. Would she find the courage to embrace her truth when the moment finally arrived? With that thought swirling in her mind, she stepped forward, ready to meet whatever lay ahead. Lily awoke with the morning light streaming through her window. The golden rays broke across her room, illuminating the dust motes hanging in the air. Today was the day. She could feel the heaviness clinging to her, like the blankets she had yet to shed. The weight of truth pressed down on her chest, but in that bright morning, a spark of determination flickered to life. She glanced at her phone, the screen flashing with messages from Jake and Megan. Good luck today. Read the latest from Megan, followed by a thumbs-up emoji. The boost warmed her heart, knowing her friends believed in her even when doubt threatened her own conviction. Taking a deep breath, Lily prepared herself for the conversation that awaited. Each step to the bathroom felt monumental. Would she find the right words? Could she navigate the storm that could rise? Her reflection looked back at her, a mix of excitement and fear shadowing her features. Just be honest, she whispered to herself, steadying her resolve. After getting ready, the sound of her mother's voice reached her from the kitchen. Greets the day new. It sounded oddly cheerful, yet distant. Once in the kitchen, the comforting smell of coffee surrounded her, mingling with the scent of toast. Her mother stood at the counter, engrossed in preparing breakfast, the radio softly playing in the background. Morning, sweetie. You're up early, she said, glancing over her shoulder with a smile that seemed to linger at the edges of her lips. Yeah, I had a lot on my mind, Lily managed, nervous energy buzzing within her. Her heart raced as she took a seat at the table, trying to gather her thoughts. Should she just dive in? Is everything okay? Her mother asked, not quite meeting her eyes as she poured the coffee. Mom, there's something I need to talk to you about. It's important, Lily began, her voice shaking slightly. She saw her mother freeze for a fraction of a second, an unease creeping into the air. Sure. What's on your mind? Her mother's bright tone felt forced, hinting at the underlying tension that had grown between them. Taking a steadying breath, Lily decided it was now or never. It's about us, our relationship. I feel like there's so much we haven't talked about, and it's been eating away at me. Her mother set down the coffee pot, her back stiffening a little. What do you mean, honey? I thought things were fine between us. Not really, Lily admitted, the words flowing out. I need you to hear me. I want to tell you about how I've been feeling. Things were hard when Dad passed. Silence settled thickly around them. The radio was now just a background hum, fading in comparison to the weight of her words. Lily watched her mother's face shift from surprise to something more guarded. We've moved past that, Lily, her mother said carefully. No, Mom, I don't think we have, she replied, desperation rising in her voice. I still feel lost, and I need you to understand that I'm hurting. The pause that followed felt like it could stretch for eternity, hanging between them. Lily's heart pounded in her chest, each beat a reminder of her vulnerability in that moment. Would her mother see her? Would she even care? Just as doubt began to claw at Lily's resolve, her mother turned around, her eyes shimmering with unshed tears. I didn't know. I thought you and I were okay. We're not, and that's okay. We can work on it together. The words poured out, a mix of hope and fear, the same feelings she had tasted the night before. As Lily reached out to her mother, she felt the tension in the air shift slightly. Just then, the phone rang, piercing through the moment. Her mother winced, breaking the connection. I need to get that, she said, too quickly. Lily felt her heart sink as her mother stepped away, taken by the call, the moment slipping through her fingers like sand. Lily remained at the table, feeling the weight of the unresolved silence. Would they find a way back? Would the walls between them start to crumble? The door to possibility remained wide open, but doubt was there too, lurking in the corners. Just as she turned to leave, her mother's voice echoed from the other room, still talking, still tuned out. But before Lily could walk away, she thought of Jake and Megan. They had encouraged her to be brave. She took a deep breath and whispered to herself, today isn't over yet. With renewed determination, she glanced again at her mother, who was still busy with her phone call. If this was the moment of truth, she would seize it. Stepping forward, she felt a new wave of courage surge through her. As the shadows of yesterday loomed, one question lingered in her mind: what would happen if she truly let her mother in? Would their bond strengthen or unravel entirely in the process? The sun dipped lower on the horizon, throwing a warm golden haze over the yard. Lily stood outside, thankfully away from the confines of her home. Today was hers, and she felt the sheer weight of anticipation bubble inside her. Would this day change it all? Jake parked his van, the engine purring to a stop. He stepped out and approached Lily with a cheerful grin. What's the plan today, superhero? Lily laughed, her heart lifting at the sight of him. I'm ready to face my mom. Can you believe it? He nodded, pride glimmering in his eyes. It's a brave step. But no matter what happens, you've got this. With renewed determination, they headed inside. Lily's heart raced as they crossed the threshold, the atmosphere thick with anticipation. The kitchen was quiet now, a far cry from the chaotic emotions that had swirled there earlier. Gritting her teeth, she prepared herself for whatever storm might follow. Mom? Lily called out, her voice resolute but gentle. Mrs. Thompson stepped in from the living room, her expression curious yet guarded. Lily? Oh. You didn't mention you'd have company, she said, glancing at Jake. Mom, I asked Jake here for support. We need to talk, Lily replied, her tone firm. Mrs. Thompson's brow furrowed, uncertainty flickering across her face. About what? Everything, Lily said, feeling waves of strength pouring through her. About us and who I am. I want to be honest today. The moment felt electric as Mrs. Thompson's posture stiffened, preparing for battle. What do you mean, who you are? She asked defensively. I want to help veterans, Mom. I've been working on a project, a fundraiser, and I need you to understand just how important this is to me. Lily took a breath, her heart pounding. I'm not just your daughter. I'm a person with dreams to make a difference. Eyes flashing with concern, Mrs. Thompson stepped back. Lily, do you understand what you're saying? Helping everyone isn't a way to secure your life, that's what I'm trying to protect you from. But I need to try. Lily countered, shaking with emotion. If I don't, I'll lose myself. And what kind of life would that be? Jake moved closer, his presence grounding her. Mrs. Thompson, Lily's doing something meaningful. She's showing courage, taking risks, and you're worried. But isn't that a part of life? Surprise washed over Mrs. Thompson, but her expression didn't soften. It's not that simple. Yes, it is. Lily insisted. I want you to see what I'm capable of. I'm not a little girl anymore. Silence fell. The weight of her words hung in the air, thick with unspoken fears, and she could see her mother grappling with her emotions, the battle waging behind those eyes. Lily, her mother began, faltering before steadying herself. I just don't want you to suffer the way I did. I've worked so hard to give you a better life. I know. And I appreciate it. But can't you see? I want to create my own life. A flurry of emotions danced across Mrs. Thompson's face: concern, love, and the fracture of understanding. And in that moment, something shifted. I don't want to lose you, Mrs. Thompson finally whispered, her voice breaking. Lily stepped forward, her heart aching. You won't lose me, Mom. But I can't ignore who I am and what I want to do. Suddenly, Lily's younger brother, Tim, peeked around the corner, his curious face breaking the intensity of the moment. What is going on? Lily knelt down, taking his small hands in hers. I'm telling Mom about my dreams. It's kind of scary, you know. Tim nodded, his brow furrowing. Can I help? Yes, buddy. This is about all of us. The room felt lighter as laughter bubbled between them. In that instant, something shifted in the air, a new bond forming amidst the chaos. Mrs. Thompson stepped closer, eyes softened by the familial warmth that still lingered. Maybe we can learn together, she spoke carefully. Lily, I love you. I want you to chase your dreams, and I'll try to support you even if it's hard for me. Lily could hardly comprehend the shift. Tears blinked at the corners of her eyes as realization washed over her. You really mean that? I do. Her mother said softly, a smile breaking through the cracks of tension. Cheers erupted from Tim. Yay! Can we have ice cream? The warmth of rekindled love filled the space, a heartwarming toast to a fresh start. I feel like we've all taken a step forward, Jake said. And look, I brought ice cream to celebrate. Before long, the laughter echoed inside, transforming the home more than it had ever been in recent months. Each scoop resembled the melting barriers between their lives, signaling a fresh chapter ahead. As they gathered around the table, spoonfuls of ice cream and new dreams intertwined, Lily finally felt the weight of uncertainty lessen. Together, they would navigate the unknown, their hearts brimming with the courage to rise above, ready to embrace every shadow and every light waiting on the road ahead. Cheers to new beginnings! Tim shouted, raising his cone. Cheers! Lily and her mother echoed, their smiles glowing brighter than the sun. In that moment, they all shared a single clarity: real love can weather the fiercest storms, and a heart ignited by purpose can change everything. And as laughter filled the air, hope flowed freely, paving the way for their journey yet to come. Don't wait one more second. You need to subscribe now to catch exclusive stories that change lives. Smash that like button to feed the algorithm and let others feel this inspiration. Share this journey instantly with at least 5 friends who need to see transformation unfold. Your support makes all the difference. Let us grow this amazing community together.